Hi everybody. So today we are going to be talking about lessons I've learned in relationships in 2024, just because I feel like that was probably my most prosperous year I've ever had in relationships in my life. And I think that I can definitely bring a different perspective in a lot of relationships that we have in our everyday life. I think you guys are going to be bombarded with a lot of videos about just life and all the lessons I've learned because I feel like I've healed so much where I can definitely see where me as a person have gone wrong, but things that I have like slowly changed so that my relationships in my life can also thrive. Like we all want relationships that thrive. And I'm not talking about just romantic. We're going to be talking about romantic partners. We're going to talk about friends, family, and also relationship with self. Okay, you thought you could get away, you thought you wasn't going to take some accountability from this video. You guys know my beliefs. Everything always happens for a reason. There's always a reason. There's always a lesson to learn from all of the people that come into your life. And once you have this perspective of just like, okay, what can I learn in this moment? If you guys are not in contact, if you guys are in contact, like there's always a lesson for yourself to learn during that time. I actually want to start with friendships first because I think my friendships have fucking thrived this year. Like, I feel like I finally found my freaking people. We're all on the same page. And even if we're not on the same page, like, we give each other that time and space to figure it out, okay? Like, we're not pushing stuff onto you. It's more of a, you will figure it out genuinely because we believe you. And I feel like everybody should have that mindset. I feel like there is definitely a trend and a wave and how social media affects us about girl friendships. And I totally get it because a lot of the content that we consume, like as women, I think a lot of it is a lot of self growth, self health, like all of these different things, mental health. And a lot of us tend to isolate and not talk to people, or we lose friendships out of those things, or we are the ones who are not putting effort into like those relationships anymore. I used to isolate myself a lot whenever I was going through something, but my real friends know that like I will always pop back up again. Like I'll always like show up once in a while or show up very often sometimes. I go through eras of like being social and being not social, but it's the fact that my friends understand that and they don't take offense to those things. At the end of being the person who isolates, I think it's important to know that people do love you and people do want you around, and to recognize those people and appreciate them when you get the chance to, because I feel like I've always been the isolator, so I really never got the chance to even like tell my friends, my family and things like that, like things that I actually appreciate, because a lot of people see like showing up as like love and like, you know, showing face or whatever, but for me it's like I'm very genuine about where my actions like come from, and like if I'm not in the best mood, I don't want to show up and like start giving that energy to everybody. You are supposed to be able to lean on these people, and little do you know that like some people's energy can turn that negative energy into like positive energy, good energy, healthy energy, healing energy. We often forget that like connections with people do that to us. I forgot for a very long time because I did really have to like stick it out by myself with a lot of things, but we are adults now. Like you're supposed to be able to lean on people, you're supposed to have connections with people. I think that's why so many people in life right now feel so lonely. It's because, guys, you guys are not connecting with each other. Let's be so for real. Go do something together. Connection is probably like the most important thing in life. I feel like we most of the time take it for granted when we start like isolating ourselves because what, maybe they don't agree with us, maybe we're going through something, maybe they're not on the same mindset, maybe they're not on the same wavelength, but it's also like not your place to judge all of those things. I also have to preface this: if you are uncomfortable that somebody doesn't have the same belief as you or doesn't necessarily agree with something that you're doing or your beliefs or something, that doesn't necessarily mean that they are bad people. Maybe they're just not for you, but also that says a lot more about you than it does any other person. Like, I love being around people
who know themselves so well to disagree with me and to feel comfortable disagreeing with me. Because, girl, if we all thought the same, we would be fucking boring. Don't you think that's kind of where we led, like where we're kind of leading to in social media? Like, have you noticed that most people online, we say the same things, we do the same things, and it just gets boring? I have this newfound love for people who like don't necessarily agree with me, because when I'm in a high emotional state, right, and I'm not thinking straight, somebody who is comfortable with themselves and doesn't agree with what I'm doing, how what I'm doing or whatever, or my actions when I am on a high emotional state, they could be like, we don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. And they keep me in check. And those are the type of people that I want in my life, because truth and honesty and this like true knowing of themselves is something like I want in my life. And so I really do enjoy people who don't necessarily agree with me at all times.
Once you realize that other people are a reflection of who you are, like basically mirroring you, you realize all the things that you are really hard on yourself and things that you probably need to give yourself a little grace for. You should be giving grace to your friends as much as you're giving grace to that disgusting man in your bedroom. Just kidding. I often find that like we are a lot harder on our friends than we are about our partners. And I'm here like that really shouldn't be the case. Like we should be giving grace to pretty much anyone. Like everybody's here to learn, everybody's here to grow, okay? And we're all taking lessons in. And sometimes it can be a lot. But at the end of the day, like when you choose not to judge other people anymore, like you also aren't hard on yourself when it comes to like things as well. And I'm a very hard person on myself. So imagine my brain and like seeing other people. I'm like, why the fuck are we doing that? Why the fuck are you doing that? And then I was like, girl, because we all have to experience and go through things to learn, duh. Give a little freaking grace to people. We're all here doing dumb stuff that we don't want to do, looking embarrassing and stuff. But humility is literally like the best teacher for like lessons. I feel like your friendships will thrive when you judge them less. Just because they don't do things that, you necessarily like don't align with, it doesn't mean that they're not any less of your friend. It's just we are on different wavelengths, and having an understanding that we don't necessarily need to be on the same wavelength is another thing, because our reality, our perceptions, our beliefs, our opinions matter and exist just as much as any other person in this world. And it's basically like the saying that like two truths can exist at once. And I find myself in a lot of those like situations where I'm like, it's just one of those situations where two truths exist at once. And like, it's not necessarily your job to be like validating or unvalidating like that person, because that is just their experience, like how you have your own experience, they have their own experiences too. Once you learn how to get in and out of that and just be a lot more aware that, ooh, maybe this is not coming from them, it's me. Because sometimes you're the fucking problem, bitch. Like, let's be for real. Self accountability is gonna save your like friendship too. I think that taking accountability for a lot of things makes people realize like, oh my god, like finally she realizes, and like, you know what, like she's growing. Like I feel like when people take accountability and they come to me and I'm like, oh my god, like you're growing, like I'm so excited for you because I knew you could do it, like, yes, girl, you freaking get it now. Like, you freaking get it now. What is it? It makes me so happy to give people that space to grow and learn, because there's so much joy for me when I see like friends like, oh my god, yeah, they get it now. Like, yes, we get it. We're on the same page, girl. And like, it feels so rewarding. I'm like, okay, yeah. And it takes a lot of time. It takes months, years, whatever. And like to me, like, that time doesn't really exist. But once we think about the 3D world, then I'm like, okay, yeah, it kind of does exist in this world. I think it's also just like allowing people to like figure themselves out. Like, yes, you may have all the answers, and like they'll probably realize that it was your answer. The most important part about being on earth is to experience and learn lessons. And most people, including me, are the type of people where we have to be in the experience, bask in the experience, you know what I mean? And then we learn our lesson after. And I feel like that's how most things work. And I feel like sometimes like we forget that. Like, Some people are like, oh my god, like I already know this is not meant for me. Some people are like, I have to experience to see if that's meant for me, you know. And so I feel like there's two scales to it. I'm like, yeah, I kind of am in both of them. I also think that communication is very, very like important as well, because then people can understand where you're coming from. You can understand where people are coming from, and not everybody needs to agree. Like, learn how to agree to disagree with people without having your emotions like riled the fuck up. I used to be a person where I was like, no, like my way is the fucking highway. But once I've gotten out of that like thinking, I'm like, honestly, I can try all these different ways to see if they are effective for me, you know? And so opening up your mind and being open minded about things, girl, it's the best thing that you could do, not only for yourself, but for your friends. Allowing your friends to grow, even if it's not up to your expectations, is probably the best thing that you could do, not only for yourself, but for your friends and your family and honestly everybody. And enjoy that. Like, yeah, they might not get it right now. Maybe you're frustrated with your friends. I get frustrated with my friends all the goddamn time, man. Like, I be there like, girl, you need to answer your sign. It's so loud that I can't even sit next to you because it's so loud. I also give them grace because I'm like, girl, you're gonna get it in like a couple months here, and like we'll hit our moment where we're like, yeah, okay, it's okay, you get it now. A lot of people have like these rules, right? Like rules of, oh, if a girl does this, then she's not a girl's girl. Oh, if she does this, then she's like not my real friend. Those decisions are up to you to listen to your inner compass and not come from a place of like ego or that you're like better than everybody or better than your friend.
I feel like I said it a little too nicely here. But what I'm saying is use your freaking brain. Trust your intuition. Are you really going based off what everybody's saying on the internet? It really do be the phones. Like, let's be for real. Like, nobody has values or morals and everything because we're just confused. Like, our identity is confused. And so, once you trust your intuition and find out who you are, your values, and all these different things, you will be able to have better judgment. So, please, like, spend some time off your phone and go outside and experience people in real life, because what you see online, it actually doesn't really even equal up to what you actually experience with real people in real life. And people ask me all the time, and they're like, how come you're not on social media anymore? When's your next video? It's because I'm out here learning my lessons and actually experiencing life as it should be, as we are supposed to be doing. Always move with love, because you don't know when or what or how you affect other people as well, because we're all like intertwined, like we're all interconnected in a way. And the more that you can be and move with love, it helps literally every single person around you, and it becomes a domino effect. Like, once I started healing, everybody else around me also started healing too. So check in with yourself, please, I'm begging you.
The way you move about life is not their path. They have their own path. I would really recommend a lot of people to actually do a lot of like soul searching and to look deep within them and see where like all of these expectations of friends like come from. Is it from social media? Are you listening to social media all the goddamn time? Because I'm gonna tell you this, social media is ruining relationships, ruining friendships, ruining everything. That's why I don't watch or I'm not online as much anymore, because that is not the reality of my friendships, my family, my relationships. Like, hell no. That like, yes, all these people post about all their friends and all these things. You might not even know. They might secretly hate each other. A lot of people be doing that. You know what I mean? And so it is important to live in your own truth, live in your own life, and realize the reality of your relationships apart from all those expectations that you see online. Like, I hate this whole conversation of like being a girl's girl and like all these things, because I would be like, oh yeah, I do social media, so some words we just throw in there because it's trending or whatever. My opinion on the girl's girl thing is just like, there are some people who you would tell them that their man is cheating and they will get mad at you. There's so many possibilities to the situation, right? But if it was like somebody close to me, I also would still struggle navigating that, because my intentions is not to hurt my friend, because I can feel when like my friends or family or people who are really close to me, I can feel them like their energy or whatever. And I don't really know how to explain it yet. Yes, I can be empathic, but it's kind of deeper than that. I can feel people. Like when people hug me, I can feel them feel when they're sad. Sometimes I know what the reason is, and I'm like, I'm not gonna say anything, because it's up to those people to make those decisions as well for themselves. But yeah, this whole girls thing, I'm here like, no, I am going to be loyal to the people who are loyal to me. And I have, like, if it was a random stranger, I have no idea who you are. I have absolutely no idea who you are. You know what? This is your lesson to learn. Let people learn their lessons though. Like, I think that's important. Let people learn their lessons. And it's like, not that I wouldn't do the things that are girls to girls with my people, my friends, my family, the people that I know. I wouldn't be out here being loyal to every single person that I ever meet or come across in my entire life. My loyalty to people, like, I need to decipher whether or not you are those type of people that I can be loyal with. Because once I'm loyal to you, girl, like, I'm gonna have your back for like everything. I do the most craziest things for my friends where I'm like, why would I do that? Like, that is strange. Like, you know what? Fuck it. Because deep down in my heart, like, I could never, like, I don't know, leave my friend in a bad situation. And that's why I have to be picky with like my friends and the people that I'm around or people that I choose to constantly be around, because once I care about you very deeply. And sometimes it gets to a point where I sacrifice like myself like a little too much, where like I kind of lose myself. So learning to have balance with that has really, really helped me as like a friend. I'm glad that the friends that I have now would never put me in situations like that where I even have to extend that hand so fucking far, because girl, I was going through it in 2024 in the beginning. Damn, it was hard, like having to navigate friendships and friendships changing and us changing as individuals has been very, it hasn't been difficult, but it kind of almost feels uneasy, but you're so happy at the same time, because it's like, yeah, this is what we were meant for, to change. Duh, if we want different outcomes, there got to be different actions, right? And so change can be so unsettling, but it's like so bittersweet. It's like, damn, like I used to be that way, but you know what? Like I'm such a better version of myself now. It's kind of like that even with like friendships. I've also spent some time actually rekindling friendships that I had lost, because like something in me was just like, girl, like you need this. Like let's get some clarification, Like I'm so much more aware now, and like I think for me it was like taking accountability for things that was just like, bitch, what in the fuck? More of a, I just wanted to take self accountability from that, because I've grown so much and it has been so many years. And so I took the effort to reach out to people who like I've lost friendships with because of just the whole growth thing, or just always like feeling the need to be like alone all the time to deal with my own shit. And it has resulted in probably some of the best conversations I've ever had in my entire life. Like everybody's like, oh no, like I would never rekindle a relationship with these people, da da da, whatever. There's something to learn in every single relationship, friendship, whatever. And I feel like you might be feeling that. Like, oh, I should reach out. And I highly, highly recommend you to reach out, because you never know what can happen. And at least in my case, things have been fucking great. Like, great. Like, just finally understanding each other and growing up. And you realize that those people have grown and changed too. And you have grown and changed too. And it's such a relief. Even if, the friendship doesn't last a long time, or like, maybe the friendship won't even last past the conversation. You know what I mean? But what's important is just like, you did it for yourself, and probably that person needed it too. Everybody like not wanting to communicate and shit. No, communicate. Because you might find that you healed with that conversation, and you've also healed another person having that conversation as well. I really did have to let like my ego like kind of die. It's hard though, because I think with like the relationship of self, I had to let go of my ego and just be like, girl, like it's really not that serious. Like, what do you mean you're afraid? What do you mean you're scared? Because you don't know. That is the point, to take risks in your life. And I'm not just talking about like you're like career or whatever. No, take risks like in your life all the time. Those risks will cause change, and taking those risks, you might not get the like outcome that you want necessarily, but everything is happening for you, and maybe it happened, maybe the good, the bad, or whatever happened for a reason. And it always does. I always feel like there's always a freaking reason as to why things happen. And so I say making a choice is better than not making a fucking goddamn choice at all. There's two separate roads and you're in the middle trying to make a decision of what you want, when sometimes the most important thing to do is to just make a decision and not trying to figure out which one is the right or wrong move. Bro, there is no right or wrong action. I have really learned that there is no right or wrong in a lot of things. In most everything. Honestly, in everything. Nothing is a wrong or right choice or decision. But you're just here to learn. So if that one's kind of scary, I say go for it. If that one's kind of happy, I mean, just go for it. There's no good or bad decision, and there's no right or wrong in a decision. And once you start seeing that, you just be there and you're like, dang, we just making decisions out here. Like, yeah. I've also learned how to actually maintain relationships a little better. Putting that effort to just go get coffee every couple of months and just updating each other about your entire lives. It's so fun. I love it. I'm like, yeah, I get to tell you all these crazy ass stories that just happened to me. And like, wow. And like, they get to tell you all the crazy stories that happened to them. And you're just having the best conversation. Like, give time and space to be able to grow and conversate about all of those things. And that's why I can't do like friendships and relationships that are like every single day, like we text every single day. There are some certain people that I can talk to every single day and I would never be bored of our conversation, just because we are probably very similar and we're just like, it's fun. And I like the way that the people that I am like that with, the approach that we take to a lot of things is growth. And so it's something that is very interesting for all of us. So we continuously can talk about, oh, how many ways can you take this as a lesson? Where can you come out of love in this situation? Maybe you need to give grace to yourself. Maybe you need to give grace to other people. And having people who like are on that same wavelength of that growth, oh my God, it is so rewarding. It is so rewarding. You go from like talking mad shit and coming from an emotional place and just being so angry and whatever, to like talking about situations that happen in your life in a perspective of growth. Like, it is, oh my God, it is the best thing. It's just like, Dan, you keeping me neutral. Yes, I can make clear decisions. I can make clear decisions. And I realized that like I can't really be around people who are also really reactive when I'm like in the moment of being reactive, because like I find that we don't make the best decisions together. But that shouldn't be the case. Like, we should all be our own people, our own individuals, and our energies should not affect one another, but also understanding that we can be there for each other even if we're not on the same wavelength of being upset or whatever too. I have a whole like other episode that I'm gonna kind of talk about like my relationship specifically with my cousin Sandy, because I feel like me and her have been meaning to make that video for a little bit, but we are still trying to find the words that can even explain our relationship now. It's just like it was just so meant to be. Now, family is a little more complicated because I feel like there's this like outspoken rule of, oh, if they're blood, they're family. But I genuinely don't think that's the case. I think like if you have a connection with them, then you have a connection with them. And if you don't, then you don't. There are just some people in your family who you are just so much closer with, and that's okay. That is okay. But also, don't close yourself off, because you never know like the people in your family who you would possibly have a good relationship with, okay? Because I had an experience where I was like closer to one cousin on a certain side of my family and I wasn't close to like the rest of the cousins on that side. But then eventually I actually became closer to another cousin on that side instead. It really shocked me because I was like, I can't believe how close we are. And I've never, not that I've never given the chance, it's just like we both have never given effort into like this relationship, and it has fucking thrived. I freaking love her. She's the best person ever. Without falling off with people to meet new people, that relationship would have never even happened, and I'm so glad and happy and appreciative that her and I have this really good relationship together. I think family is a little complicated because there are so many people that I've met that also are not very close with their family, and that is like a reality for a lot of people too. I feel like I can only speak upon people who do have close relationships with their family, but I will say there is a member of my family that like I wasn't really close with, but I was supposed to be. So one of my parents I am very distant with. Okay, let's just talk about this because I feel like this could really help. But for many years, the person was alive. The person, let me just state, the person very much alive. But I never post about the person. I never like really talk about him. People ask me about him, but I honestly wouldn't know because I had just completely cut like contact because I'm very like here for the people who fucking love me, okay? But it wasn't that that person didn't love me and that that person didn't have unconditional love for me. It's just I was hurt like all throughout my childhood and just like I'm so confused. Like, why is this? Why is that? Like, why do I have to go through this? Why do I have to make these decisions? Da da da. But once I became an adult, I realized that that certain person is living for the first time. But I also have to remember that I am the firstborn. Okay. So me going through everything, I go through everything first with my parents. Okay. So they're learning off of me. They're learning off of how I react. They're learning off of, situations that we are put in all together. And I learned to give that person fucking grace because fuck my parents, they've always grown up in like a society where they don't think mental health exists. Now that we're a lot older and everybody has grown, we all know mental health exists, but at the time when they were growing up, that wasn't the case for them. So them expressing that is very hard, and I had to come to the conclusion that like they are a product of their environment, and that is what happened. And now that I know better, I should be doing better. I shouldn't be so bitter about those things that happened in the past because that is not who I am now. That is not who that person is now. I was just like, oh my fucking God, I need to talk to this certain person. It was the most rewarding conversation I've ever had. Like, I finally got to tell them about all the things I've done, and I've traveled all throughout these years of my life. Like, I'm talking like probably like 5 or 6+ years of things because I've just been so distant. See, this is why you need to communicate with people. That's so many years to miss out on your daughter, right? Like, really think about it. That's so many years to miss out on your daughter, but so many things I have also missed out on my parent as well. Just when you put it in that perspective, it's like, holy shit. Like, time really went by fast, and I've grown, so let's have this conversation. It was really good, and I think that it was very healing for not only me, but for that parent as well. That person actually apologized to me. Like, they finally had the opportunity to just be like, I'm really sorry I wasn't there. And it wasn't that I didn't want to be. And I knew that the reason was just mental health. But the thing is, I disappear all the goddamn time. So I was like, I completely understand, man. I get it. I probably understand you the most. And so I'm like, no, like, don't say sorry. This is just the reality of what's happened. And, like, honestly, if things would have happened the way we expected them to, or, whatever, like, our expectations or what that role is really supposed to be or whatever, I would not be here today. I would not be the person that I am. So don't apologize because I've already forgiven you. Give grace to your parents because I think the biggest things that I've realized is just that, like, our parents are living for the first time and they don't know how they feel and they don't understand where all of these things are coming from because their environment was completely different from where we like come from. Now that mental health is so important, it's so important to the point where I look, think that we kind of think about it too much and we be in our heads. So it's good to have them around because they snap me the fuck out. Thank God. I used to want my parents to like feel me so emotionally and all these different things, and I realized that like your purpose here is to snap me the fuck out of that shit because sometimes it's just a little too much. Too much of something can be bad, okay? That's where I've really learned to appreciate my fucking parents, especially my mom, because she just sometimes She just sits there and she's like, I don't know what to do. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know either. I'm masculine and feminine at the same time, but sometimes I lean more feminine. And my mom is just masculine all the time. Masculine all the goddamn fucking time. And so, like, when I lean too far in my feminine, I feel like she can snap me the fuck out. And that is something that I can greatly appreciate from my mom because sometimes you fucking need that. And that is my lesson with my mom. If you guys know, then you know that me and my mom have gone through some pretty rough shit. I should do an episode with my mom because honestly, I think that there has been tons and tons and tons of mothers who also like fallen out with their daughters or just really bad shit be happening and stuff. And for us to have our relationship thrive as much as it does now is actually insane because as like a teenager, I was just like, I'm gonna cut my mom off, da 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 da, being freaking dramatic and just overly emotional and like acting upon emotions. And now I'm just here like, I actually don't regret anything that's ever happened. I'm glad they happened because we would not understand each other the way that we do now if that stuff never freaking happened. Like, you need some moments where things are not going the greatest because the reward at the end of feeling that joy and feeling so proud of just growth and stuff, you need that. You need those down bads to be up there, okay? And so don't be so discouraged when like bad things like happen in your life or relationships go down the drain or whatever because like I said, sometimes you grow apart just to grow back into each other, and it's the best thing that you have ever imagined. I have a lot of boy cousins, like all of them are fucking boys, and growing up, they were all fucking boys, so I always had to do like boy stuff because obviously they outnumbered us, me and Sandy, and now we have two other little girls who are a part of our family too. But being the oldest ones, we're like, bro, like we always had to like just do what the boys wanted. We finally all have gotten to an age where like we can all talk and relate, so there is no like girl boy thing anymore. There is like no separation. Like we are just so close, and to have so fucking many, like when I tell you guys my family is fucking huge and I just have a whole bunch of cousins who are around my age. Honestly, how many do I have? Okay, my primary family, we have 16 grandkids in general, and I think there's only two who are not around the same age as us right now. And so just imagine how many cousins like I can go and talk to about like pretty much anything. Like we can all go out to do stuff, go snowboarding, go bowling, have all these hobbies together, play games together. Like I have so many, and I've realized that it is like the greatest blessing to come down to earth in this lifetime that I'm living, because I think that we live multiple lifetimes, but to come down in this lifetime where I get to experience all of them and all of us be the same age. Like, it is such a blessing. It is such a blessing. I love it. It's the best thing in the whole world. Like, everybody comes over to like my family stuff, people who are like, extended family or like friends and stuff, and they'll be like, holy shit, your family's huge and you have so many cousins who are all the same age and you guys got all party together and da da da. And they don't have that, and I feel like I have not appreciated that. And this year I most definitely have. Also, like, same thing with like me, my cousin Sandy, and my cousin Daisy. We are all around the same age. For us to be in this world, to experience each other, us three, our relationship, how fucking harmonious and beautiful our relationship is just another blessing too. It's like, oh my god, like we get to experience and live out our 20s all together. We all get to have kids all together. Like we're all around the same age, like we all go through so much similar things and whatever. Like it is so nice to have like a girl group where I'm just like, yeah, fuck yeah, we fucking going through this shit together, yes. And it's such a blessing because a lot of people like they don't have that, and I realized that like my support system is fucking here. I don't know what I was talking about when I felt like I didn't feel supported by family at one point in my life, because I'm here like they're all here in my life, have been showing up, but I have not noticed because I had to go through my growth, and for them to still stick around after everything that has happened in my life and how our relationships may have gone down the drain or how they got up or they've been good, whatever, like they have still stuck around and let me grow into the person that I am today. And that's why I said like it's so important to let people grow into like themselves even more. Like that's unconditional fucking love, bitches. Like y'all be so fucking conditional with like love. And I'm here like no, like unconditional love is like it's so much more past that. And it's not about like not having boundaries with people either. It's never been about that. It's just like, you know what? They're gonna learn. And it's kind of like tough love. Like I feel like tough love is unconditional love. Every time I film videos for you guys, I feel like I am stuffy, but regardless of the facts. Okay, now we're gonna talk about relationships, and I feel like this is probably like the easiest topic to talk about, or like the most controversial as well. And all of this is just my own like personal experience. I feel like it's really important to actually stay off of social media or stay off of like couples social media, because it's not all like love and light over there either. Every relationship goes through things, but to have that expectations and then to feel so, you'll feel so sad in your relationship, not realizing sometimes like what you even have. And yeah, that's why I don't watch like a lot of things with like love in general, because I'm like, yeah, no, like some of that is really unrealistic. And if there's one thing that I don't like to be delusional about, it's specifically like partners, like romantic partners. Like everybody's like, oh my god, we're gonna be so delusional about this guy. He probably likes me. I'm here like, bitch, no, no, we're not gonna be delusional about that, because you kind of look crazy. You kind of look crazy. Like I personally am the type of person where like I'm not gonna give you my energy as a partner if you're not even my fucking partner. The fuck do I look like? I'm also not saying that you should lower your standards though. I'm just saying that there have been standards that I have and that the person fulfilled, and I realized that motherfucker's a bitch. They are just bitches. Like they want to be the princess, and I'm here like, what the fuck? Like they could have everything, everything. They could have money, they can have nice houses, fly me out, take me to all these different things, and you just realize, like deep down, they're bitches. They're bitches. And I'm not talking about like being like able to talk about your feelings and things like that. No, no, that's not what I'm even talking about. Like they are only doing those things because they're people pleasing. And once you clock them about that shit, oh my god, identity crisis. Identity crisis is so real. That's why I think that sometimes it's really hard to date me as a person, because I'm so in touch with myself that I can really read somebody too, and I will call you out. Especially if you're my partner, because a lot of those things affect me most. And I expect my partner to do the same shit. I'm not gonna cap. Like, yeah, you should tell me when I'm being fucking mean. You should tell me that, you know what, that really fucking hurt my feelings for what you did. Yeah, no, you should, because that's exactly what a partner is for. Your partner should be real to you about things, like to be honest. But the thing is, like, you know, like the person has like the best intentions for you at all times. You should feel that way no matter what person it is. Actually, you know that they're gonna give you some tough love, and it's not something that you want to hear, whatever, da 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 da. But sometimes you be the bitch that need to hear this shit that you don't want to hear, because duh. And then you realize in the end, like, holy shit, yeah, I needed to hear that. Yeah, no, you did. And so that's why I feel like I could be very straightforward with my partners about like things that they do or whatever. But also, it doesn't make me want to like break up with them or anything. It's more of a, I just give you grace because shit, I had to go through it too. The only reason why I recognize it in you is because I recognize it in me. And the things that your partners might not like in you, they might not like in themselves. Like it is just a reflection all the time. And like being able to read all of those things. I'm a very analytical person because, you know, I'm a fucking Virgo, but I'm also a fucking Scorpio moon. So yeah, bitch, like I can tell when you're fucking lying. Duh. You should give grace to your partners, but you should definitely give more grace to your friends. I feel like most partners, we do actually give a lot of grace to our partners. Not that it shouldn't be that way. I just think that the level that we do it needs to be toned the fuck down. Because you're in love, like you are on a high and you're like, oh my god. And like when they're around you, bro, like you start making decisions for you guys together, like us. You start making decisions for us, but don't make decisions for yourself. And so be real, let your partner know, sit down, talk to them, you know. And I will say, as a woman, a lot of it hasn't been that great because I think a lot of men do have egos. But the thing is, like, I'm very similar to them because I can also be very masculine. Everyone can be masculine or feminine. It doesn't matter if you're a boy or a girl or whatever the fuck. You can both be feminine or masculine, and it's learning to like switch in and out of that as well. Like, okay, I can be my feminine right now, and then I have to kind of be my masculine. Like, bitch, what the fuck, bro? I'm gonna get canceled for this shit, man. Guys, oh my god, this is maybe a really fucking hot take, but I don't actually agree with like not taking accountability like for women in like relationships for like certain things, because we kind of go into this mindset like once you're on social media, it's like, I can do no wrong, he's my partner, da da da, like I cannot do no wrong, I'm so cute so I'm just gonna let myself do wrong, I'm so cute that I can do whatever the hell I want. And like I feel like a lot of us actually forget that they're people. Like having that mindset going to a relationship, you forget that they're people too. Like I'm talking like crazy, like actually batshit fucking crazy, and like making that okay, like unacceptable behavior. If it were to be anyone in life, that's what I'm talking about. Not just like regular people. No, no, I'm talking to the extent of like actually batshit fucking crazy. Like we shouldn't make it okay because it's not okay to be doing all of those things to a person. Just because they didn't agree with you, just because we couldn't agree to disagree, just because we couldn't come to the same page. Like that's why I said learning to agree to disagree is so important. Learn how to agree to disagree in relationships, because it's also the same thing, and oftentimes we will come to the conclusion in a lot of our relationship issues that two truths can exist at once. But there's nothing wrong with apologizing for hurting somebody else's feelings too. We have all these high expectations of our partners, but we completely dismiss like all the qualities that we have as like people. Everybody has their own things that they value in a person other than just money and taking them out, all these different things, right? And I can tell you, you can, because I have dated, fuck. I can tell you from a personal experience that they can have it all. They can be fucking masculine, they can be have money, do all these things, whatever, fly you out, take you to clubs, get you in all these things, and make you feel like a princess. But then once you get home and you realize, like, that's not what the person actually wants to do, that's not what he actually values. But then they can be completely not using their brain, not being like mindful of other people, not respecting boundaries and things like that. Like they can do all of those outside materialistic things, but in the inside, like the internal work, they're not doing. And because of that, it's causing like an actual emotional thing that's happening in your relationship, whereas on the outside it looks good, right? That is why I have come to the realization of, even though you want all these different things and all have all these expectations of a partner, that sometimes they come with things that you actually don't want. And then I have to be even clearer about what I want in a relationship with like a romantic partner because of those things. I become very, 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 very clear because that was part of the lesson. Yeah, I say date, go experience so you know. I feel like you never actually know until you actually date that person with that quality. And then you find qualities that you don't like and you find qualities that you do like. And so go and date and get the experience and realize like what you actually want, because what you want might not actually be whatever you see online. A rich man, da 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 da, whatever. Yes. Yes. I think personally for me, it's not just a rich man. It's important for both partners, men, women, whatever, just partner in general, to recognize their own insecurities when being in a relationship. Because I don't think that people realize their insecurities and their insecurities in their relationship actually affect each other. And it also limits your guys' growth when you guys don't fucking heal your insecurities. And it limits you guys. And so when you guys are together, you're limited. And then you start feeling like you want to leave and shit. That's why you need to recognize your insecurities. Bro, what the fuck? Like I once dated a guy who like wasn't really comfortable with like me being friends with like my guy friends. And it like, and when the person would meet that guy friend, I'd be like, what the fuck is this? Like he didn't do nothing to you, you're just insecure, the fuck. Like, that guy is literally, like, my childhood fucking friend, bitch. Like, see how, if he could recognize that and we could fix whatever that internal self issue that he had, that wouldn't be a thing. But it made me feel really sad because it felt like I needed to limit my real friendship that I had with that person just because my partner is insecure, even though that person and I, it's not like that, you know? People are always like, oh yeah, we can't be friends with guys, we can't be friends with girls, da da da. And I'm just here like, guys, like, this is actually very small-minded thinking. You can be friends with whoever the fuck you want to be. You can even be friends with people who are like old or whatever, elderly. You can be friends with people who are elderly. You can be friends with children, like kids, like have a good relationship with like little cousins and stuff. That, you know what I mean? Like, to limit it to like being boy or girl, whatever. I'm just here like, that's actually like, that insecurity issue was not my issue, and I wasn't gonna sit here and fucking validate you all throughout my fucking life. I want to do that. Other people bring out other things in you, that you may have never recognized, might bring out the best in you. Why the fuck would I want to limit that? The fuck? Because I personally, I don't like being limited. Like, I hate being limited to things because I'm here like, it's part of growth. And at the end of the day, deep down inside, my partner knows I got them. Like, I am only in love with them. But the fact that like their insecurity is so loud, they can't even hear that anymore. They can't even hear it anymore because they're so insecure. And so that is why, bitch, you need to fucking get your insecurities on the fucking down low, because it's not my fucking problem. And the same thing is like, I have my own insecurities. I don't make it my partner's fucking problem, because it's not your problem. It's my problem. And I feel like that is something people can take away from this video. You need to realize, what are your own problems that have nothing to do with your relationship? Your self problems have nothing to do with your relationship. And of course you guys can talk about it, because that's what you're here for, to lean on each other about it, right? But he's not going to heal that for you. She's not going to heal that for you. You got to heal yourself, okay? They don't realize that there was nothing wrong with the relationship in the first place. The issue was calling from inside the house. The issue is calling from inside of the fucking house. There was nothing wrong with your relationship. The call is self. And that's why, like, I would love to have a partner that can at least tell the difference, man. I actually do love when people date and things like that. I'm not saying not to date or anything, because it is a reflection of themselves. Like, your partner will mirror you. You are going to learn the fucking most about yourself being in a relationship. And so that's why I like highly recommend people being in relationships and stuff, because you'll find out more about yourself, and you'll sit there and you'll be like, goddamn, yeah, I was the fucking problem. You know what? I'm fucking sorry. Like, that was never your issue to deal with in the first place. Taking that self accountability, girl. Take more self accountability. Actually, both partners always need to take more self accountability. The more you take self accountability, the more you can say sorry, the more you know what the fuck you did wrong, your relationship will be so much better in life, okay? I know y'all didn't forget about the relationship with self, because you're gonna have to sit with yourself. All your relationships in life have, a lot of it has to do with yourself and your perceptions of things too. And having a relationship with self was something that was so hard on me. And I realized that I didn't have a good relationship with myself in the beginning, and that's why my relationships were fucking all like weird and just didn't feel great, because I didn't know how to have that relationship with myself. So I didn't know how to have that relationship with anybody else in my entire fucking life. Relationship with self is definitely gonna be your own journey, but I think the one thing that has helped me the most is actually going through things. Understanding that I can always be super down low, and I'm always gonna pick myself back up. I'm always gonna be there for me. You should be the person that is there for yourself majority of the fucking time, okay? Maybe all the time. One thing I think that really destroyed my relationship with self was this like whole social media thing and being consistent, actually. And it came to a habit where like I was like, okay, I'm gonna post, and then I don't end up posting, or like I'm gonna make this video but then I don't end up making that video. And it really fucked with me, because I no longer trusted like myself anymore because I was not holding up my end of the fucking bargain. And then I not only did I start doing that from social media and grew that habit, but that habit fucking grew into like my relationships. That's why I don't like to be delusional. Like I can be delusional about my dreams and everything because like that's one thing where I'm like, I'm pretty sure that I know that's what I want. Whereas like I don't like to be delusional about people. Like I don't like to be delusional about self. I say cultivate yourself, learn how to water yourself and pour into yourself. And although right now it sounds very difficult, right? Like it sounds so fucking cliche to you guys because you guys are like, what the fuck do I do? What do I do? How do I do that? Girl, that's up to you to figure out. Why do you think that answer is so bland? It's because it's up to you to figure it out and you to make decisions and you to grow and you to fuck up, you to make the mistakes, you to make the right choices, whatever. That's all up to you. You are sitting and watching this video and you're probably sitting there like at a crossroads, right? The two crossroads, not being able to make a decision. When in reality, the most important part is just to make a decision. Not even just if it's the right one or not. You never know if you'll like something. You'll never know what that result is. That's why you should let go of outcomes when it comes to self, okay? It's not that you don't need to have structure or anything. I'm slowly finding a way to let go of outcomes without having so much structure, but also not having enough structure. That is kind of where I am in my life right now. Letting go of outcomes have really let me be open-minded about so many things, not just by myself, but about like other things in life. And letting go of outcomes honestly made me less fearful of things. Like, oh, I'm just gonna fail because I'm not like into it. I need to do all these things, whatever. When I let go of the outcome, I'm like, I'm just doing it just to do it. And sometimes you need things where you just do it. The most important is just to do it. You're seeing all these like routines and things like that. And don't get me wrong, they're fun. They're fun and all, and it is good for you. I have learned personally that, for example, some structure doesn't even need to be had. Like when it comes to YouTube videos, like I was like, okay, like I have to have a script for all these things and just be clear about these things. Right now I'm just rambling. I probably cut out like an entire hour of this video. I'm learning that my creativity and drive and things like that, they come and they go, but what's most important is not to allow these structures, things I need to do in order to achieve that or act upon what I actually want to do, like get in the way, because then that like inspired action that you got, it goes away. That feeling goes away, when in reality you're just supposed to act upon that inspiration in general. And it's because your soul probably knows you really want it. And so I have learned that I need to take action more when I get that feeling in my like chest and like just feel so light and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna do it, instead of like applying like, oh no, I need to do all of these things before I get to that. No, you simply can choose to just do it. Why do I need to write a script? This video already came out perfectly fine, right? Like you're listening. And so yeah, if you are going to say you're going to do something, do it. When you don't do it, you lose trust in yourself. But also give yourself grace when you don't do it as well. Maybe it was something that you genuinely didn't even want to do, right? Possibilities are endless. Um, but I find that holding up to my word really helps my relationship with self, and I feel so proud of myself for it. Like when I actually do the things I'm gonna say I'm gonna do, I think everybody feels that way. When they actually do what they said they were gonna do, they be feeling so proud of themselves because, like, duh, I fucking did it. You get into situations throughout life where you are changing so much that you kind of get into an identity crisis. Just know you will find your answers. Your answers will come. Do not force your answers. Slowly but surely, they kind of unravel, and you look back on life and it was like, damn, that was a sign that I didn't even recognize before, but now it's starting to make sense. I promise you, if you're in an identity crisis and you're getting like all these different signs from the universe or whatever, or signs from people, because people can be signs as well, that eventually all of that comes to a closed circle and it all makes sense in the end. And you're like, oh my God, what the fuck? That makes sense. Everything just, it comes to a really good conclusion. And you're like, damn, that made a lot of sense. So don't be so hard on yourself trying to find the answer or whatever. because you won't find your answer searching. You'll most likely find your answer doing just living. Just live. Like, I forget that in some of this like self-growth stuff, I don't allow myself to live anymore. And sometimes you need to drink it up or like go out and things like that. Do low vibrational things. But low vibrational things I don't think are necessarily bad. Sometimes you need that to like actually realize what you're going through and whatever. Because we were like, oh yeah, I don't want to go out, I don't want to party, da da da. And I'm here like, I used to be that way too. But actually, every once in a while is not bad. Like at all. I meet some new people, had some good insights, had fun like being in the moment. Be in the moment. Like the fuck? We're here to be in the moment, not worried about our future or past or whatever. The only thing you can change right now is now. The only thing you have any control of, since we're such control freaks about our lives, is the now. You know what I mean? So why pay attention to all of those extra things when like life is so good right now? Open your fucking brain, open your eyes, appreciate what you have today. If you don't appreciate it now, you're not going to be able to be happy later on when you do have everything. Relationship with self is a hard one because I feel like I'm still kind of figuring that out for myself as well. But I know we all got it in us. You know what I mean? Like, it's this inner knowing of like, you got yourself. Go figure it out. Go figure yourself out. Go experience life. Go and fucking live. Everybody is always like, when are you gonna upload your next video? Bitch, I'm living life. I don't want my life to revolve around my career because there's too many expectations in that where I'm like, why the fuck am I even doing that? That's so stupid. No, I'm actually out here living my life, living and learning all my fucking lessons, bitches. Like, if I'm gone, just know I'm probably learning something, learning more about myself. And like in that moment, I don't want to have a camera on me. But once like I figure it out, I love to share. And yeah, I think that's the end of my video today. So I will talk to you guys in the next video. I hope you guys enjoyed. And let me know any topics that you guys want me to talk about later.